All right, so we'll do final takes.
Okay,
we'll
good.
Make sure we get him in.
All right, we'll try to save the time.
Beautiful.
All right, how do we want to start grades? Bull gives the grade
Bull's
card?
up first.
All right, Bull, you're up.
I'm up. Let's see my grade card. Here we go. There's a report card. In-game adjustments. The Browns get a D.
Oh, my God, ours are almost identical.
What can you say? I mean, I probably could have given them an F. The Browns, this was something that I thought actually Kevin Stefanski in his first season did a very good job with. I thought he was a really good adjuster. And he's gone backwards on this. Mm-hmm. And if he can't turn it around this year, well, he's going to lose his job. The Browns seem to never to be able to adjust. They were good on the first 15 plays. And as soon as they went unscripted, it's like they forgot how to coach. That was a clear problem throughout the entire season that never really got better and was a big problem on both sides of the ball. In terms of maximizing talent, that was my toughest one to come up with because I think there are really good examples of the Browns maximizing talent, and I think there are good examples of the Browns of wasting talent. But ultimately, I went with a B because the Browns made Jacoby Brissett look like a good, solid quarterback. And you think what Kevin and with Baker in the past, although we're just looking at this year, but Jacoby Brissett looked like a starting NFL quarterback, and I don't believe he is. And I think somebody's going to get him as a starter next year, and he's not going to play as well. And I think Kevin Stefanski got the best out of him. And I think in general, Kevin Stefanski has done a good job of taking guys who aren't great and making them better. Guys who are mediocre players and making them better. But there's a lot of examples on this team, especially on the defense, of guys that I think are more talented than they've performed. So that's why ultimately I went with the B, but I could have gone lower. But because of Jacoby, I gave the B.
We're dead on, Bull.
Controlling the locker room, C minus. I think overall Stefanski has not done a good job of controlling the locker room. There's been a lot of yapping out of the locker room that I think is a problem. The only reason I didn't go lower than a C minus is because there's been no massive issues out of the locker room. Like, you've seen massive problems with other teams. There's been a lot of little nicks, a lot of little paper cuts, but nothing huge. I was debating between a C minus and a D, but because there was nothing huge, I went with C minus. And finally, finger on the pulse. I think I'm being actually generous giving him a D. I don't think Kevin Stefanski has much of a finger on the pulse of this team. I know he moved an office closer to the locker room to try to get a better finger on the pulse. It didn't work. So this team, they're always talking about we're looking, we're evaluating, we're reevaluating. He needs to reevaluate almost everything he does. I think there's a decent coach in there with Kevin Stefanski. Decent, not great, good enough. But if he doesn't find it amongst the yuck of badness this year, then he's out of here. And big part of that is finding the pulse of this team because he doesn't have it right now. There you go.
Wow.
It's very hard to argue with.
Mine are almost identical.
Oh, really?
I mean, even the ones there's two of ours that are different.
Yeah.
You actually made argument for going in the direction that I went.
That's funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah. You make the point of I think there's a good quarterback somewhere in there, or good quarterback
coach,
coach in there, but there's a lot of other things messing that up for him. Man, so I guess this is me. This is my report card. Yeah, that's me. That's me smiling down there. Let's get into this. In-game adjustments, F. Straight off the bat. Let's just go ahead and get right to it.
Yeah.
I should have made mine an F.
No chasers. I mean, these guys second half playbook. Anytime you can move the ball in one drive because you've been practicing those scripted plays all week, and then you go down, get points, you look great, and then all of a sudden you get to the second half and it's nothing. You can't move the ball. The plays don't look the same. You got guys jumping off sides. No one is open. And it's just pulling teeth watching these guys trying to make adjustments. You see other teams, and I just go back to, once again, I always watch the teams that are in the playoffs because I want to measure myself against the best teams that are doing it that year. I go back and look at that Chiefs-Bengals game. And when you look at the Chiefs and Bengals, there was three different playbooks, that game had 4 different phases and scripts. Like the first, the Chiefs come out and they come out with all the gadget plays. And the Bengals withstood the gadget plays because you could get blown out on those plays. Then the Chiefs said, okay, well, now we're going to start isolating different people. Let me just go to the Travis Kelce. Let's see if we can get him going. They scored a touchdown on that. Bengals came back, made adjustments. It's like, well, you're not getting that off no more either. And then it gets to, well, okay, let me just lean on Patrick Mahomes to kind of deviate and move and kind of make plays. The Bengals were like, well, listen, we got something for that too. We're going to make plays on the football. We're going to get some turnovers. So when you look at that, those coaches and those teams made changes not within halves. They was doing it in series.
Within drives.
Within drives.
Yep.
So that's where the Browns need to get, and obviously it wasn't where it's at. Maximizing talent, I didn't kill him on this. I go a lot to what Bull was saying. I give him his average because I do believe that Kevin Stefanski gets players who are mediocre, medium. He gets those guys to play above their heads, right? And that's a skill set. That's a talent to getting people to perform up to where you're at. But I also think he has a major deficiency in terms of being too rigid to really work with players who you need a little creativity, like guys like a Kareem Hunt, guys like an Odell Beckham Jr. And it's just not about those names per se that didn't work out. It's about guys who have a different skill set. Somebody, one of my bosses, he said this, and it was brilliant what he told me. He said, I didn't get it at the time, but he said, sometimes you're not gonna have A playmakers all the time. You're not going to have A's. You're going to need to get the C's to the B's and the B's to the A's. And he says sometimes you got an A playmaker that has playmaking ability that's a player that's an A that you got to figure out some different ways to motivate that
Get
guy.
even more out of him. Like Myles Garrett.
Right.
We all think he's got another level good as he is.
Where's that next level that the Andy Reids are getting, right, where he's getting Patrick Mahomes? I think Patrick Mahomes is great. What's so scary about them is he gets Patrick Mahomes easy throws. And he knows he can make all the hard ones to talent. He gets them to go above and beyond. So I think I can't if he could just turn on that aspect and work with players, I think that's a communication piece. I think that's something you can work on. And if you give players a more of opportunity to come in and tell you, hey, these are the plays I like, these are the plays where we can get creative, I think you can work on that trait. So I give him a C. Control of the locker room, I give him a D. It's too many people talking out of turn. There's a lot. Once again, I'm watching these other teams. I don't hear, I can understand. I don't live in those cities, but you're not hearing some of the stuff. Think about it. You had Jadeveon Clowney. This is happening all the time. This is in season. You had a problem with Jarvis Landry last year. You had a problem with Kareem Hunt before the season. David Njoku, before he got his money, wanted to go. Myles Garrett said multiple things going back and forth with Joe Woods and something. You even had coaches. What defensive secondary coach gets to talk? Right? Who says, yeah, man, we really got.
That's why Belichick lets no other coaches talk.
None of them dudes, Jay. None of those guys. Because what happens? You say something stupid,
or you get mixed messaging.
Right? Who says we had a more difficult time guarding them because they had less talent on the field for the Bengals? I've never heard much.
That.
I've never heard. So when you got, and then you even have the kicker on the sideline being like just face fighting with you. What you doing? Why can't I kick that 50-yarder?
It was more like a 62-yarder.
It was like a 70-yarder.
Yeah.
You got your kicker who's making 75% of his kicks.
He's giving the FU face.
He's giving you the face fight. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Like, come on, bro. Get up out of here, man. Like, I give you a D. Finger on the pulse. I wanted to give him an F on this one, but McNuggets told me I couldn't say this, but this is just for this year. But I'm going to say it anyway. This guy, he's doing more press conferences. He's trying to be nicer to the people, the media. He's trying to this is the case of me being like, I went to counseling one time. I was like, she was like, I want a divorce. I was like, I want a divorce too. So then you automatically got to go to counseling, right?
You do?
No, you don't. So that's what
You just get a divorce.
Right, you just get a divorce. At some point in time, like, it does you no good to sit here and put on a different face. It feel like he's in counseling forced, put it on a different face because they're like, yeah, you see this kind of hot. You might want to tell these media guys what's going on or give them a better press conference when you go 7 and something and go in the basement. So I think right now he's in forced counseling. I know you're trying to smooth it over and do your thing, and I appreciate the effort. But the bottom line is, you should have been doing this like G. Bush told you a whole 2 years ago. You could have bought yourself some time, Kevin. Now you looking at 4 to 6 games. It is what it is, like Bull said. You got to come out to shoot smoking. I wish you would have got this a little bit earlier, but I give you a D for understanding the polls, because now there's the consequence time of your tenure if you don't get it done.
By the way, real quick before you put up Jay's report card, so Pat Shermer was here 2 years, right? He was head coach 2 years. Was it 2 or 3?
I think he got 2.
Did he get 3?
I can't remember. Can you look that up real quick?
Is Shermer here 3?
How many years Pat Shermer was here? Whatever it was before his last year, I think it was the second year. Like, we had been, on the radio show, Dustin and I had been killing him. Yeah. Just killing him.
They did the same thing to him.
Deservedly so.
They did the same
and
thing to him.
They set up a meeting with Dustin and I in his office.
Yep.
Because they're like, we got to talk. They did the same thing. And I found Pat to be a really nice guy. I liked meeting with him.
It's harder to stick a knife in him.
Yep.
It was, I felt bad, but I still ripped him just
Sure, you have to. That's
except
your
I
job.
felt bad when I did it, but it didn't matter because you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
But it was smart. It was a smart move by him.
To G. Bush's point, it should have happened. It should have been that way from the beginning. Jimmy Donovan, who's the play-by-play guy of the team and probably has more cachet than any member of the media in this town. When his lips are moving and it's about the Browns, more ears are tuned in than anybody else in town. Period.
Especially
including
the
Mary
voice.
Kay.
Especially he's a voice. Like,
and so that's the number one reason. The second reason is during his time here, he has, and this takes years and years to do, and you have to have the comfort in your job security to do it.
Right.
When he sees something that looks like a flaming pile of dog crap, he calls it that. And that's why people listen to him. Even though he's a paid member, he's state media.
Yeah. Right.
But he does his job so well that there is no insulating the Browns from Jimmy's thoughts.
Right.
Watch some little 2-minute clips on YouTube after the game.
They routinely get 15, 20,000 views like that.
That was kind of harsh. I'm like, gee, I'm the Duke of knee jerk. I don't know if you can.
He says it how it is. And about a month ago, just after the season ended, he came out and he ripped the Browns for not being transparent enough. He hears every fan say the same thing about the news conferences. He doesn't say anything. Kevin says the same. We got to do better. We're going to do better. We got to get better. We're going to do better. We know this isn't acceptable. But you're not saying anything.
It's very frustrating.
And so Jimmy came out and said, you got to pull back the curtain. These fans are different than Lions fans. These fans are different than a lot of other fan bases. We have stuck around in the face of horrendous football for 3 decades. Not many teams can take that kind of blow. The Redskins, once upon a time, were up here. Yeah. Their season waiting list was the longest in the NFL. Longer than the Cowboys, longer than the Raiders.
They have a band. Right.
And you know what's happened to the now Commanders? Crickets at their games. Because they've been, the NFC's not even as bad as the Browns, because they've had years where they have been We've been worse.
Yeah.
Their fan base, although the hardcore fan base is still there, all that fringe that had a 50,000 season ticket waiting list, they're gone.
I think all teams should be. Pulling back curtain doesn't mean pulling it back all the way.
No, you don't have to show us
everything. Pulling it back a little bit.
But tell us stuff.
Yes, especially when things are crappy. Teams should do that.
Yes.
Give us a little something so we can understand what you're doing.
And to your point, don't do it because someone in management or marketing or publicity said, Kevin, they're killing us over this. You got to do it. Do it because you realize that we, as the ticket-paying public, deserve better.
And I'll give you.
We've stuck around through some horrendous football.
And people think that we do it. Like, people think, like, and I always tell people I'm not part of the media, but but look, bro, I am. But the realistic part about it is it's not. I don't get nothing to beat the Browns up, bro. I would love for them to win. You know what, listen, the residuals on what it looked like if the Browns and people was excited to talk about them for our jobs is great. We don't get no money for them saying they're bad. So, like, the thought process is, we're just trying to stir up the pot. Listen, they do a good enough job of just stirring the pot.
They give us the ingredients.
We don't need to stir it up.
There's no need to stir.
Let's bring DeQuell in.